yeah, I would definitely recommend the 4% Fix for anybody who's looking to improve their productivity or even just, I don't know, help organize their work-life balance or their life balance or whatever they're balancing, whatever balls they're kind of flowing in the air. Um, and yeah, I've been doing the waking up earlier for a long time now, probably since June when I was reading the book. And it has really helped me feel more organized mentally and makes me feel more prepared for my day and more prepared for my week. There are obviously some times where I don't do it, or sometimes where I sleep in, or sometimes where I just know the night before, like I'm not going to get up as early as 5 a.m. I might get up at 6 or at 7. I don't think I've slept in past 7:30 in like 10 years. So I'm usually an early riser anyway. But yeah, no, it really helps me feel like I have my own time, especially with kids and, other commitments and everything. It's my coveted time where I can do whatever I want.
Does anybody else have a problem restraining themselves when someone says balls? I was like, I was trying so hard not to interrupt it. I was like, okay, calm down. And then I was like, going to congratulate us for not jumping on that setup for a joke. And then I thought maybe it's just me. Anyway, so
all the time, any words, like if someone says box, I'm like, like all of the above. Kim.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Lindsay. What a poignant reflection on the 4% Fix. I was listening the whole time.
Kim, sometimes I am on purpose put words like that might make people giggle into my regular conversation with like a completely like
straight
face. Just
and
to
that's
see.
why we love you.
Yeah. Like I need to erect the tent. Would somebody like to help me?
Can someone help me erect this? Innuendos are so funny.
So I was thinking we could, because I think by the end of the last thing that we talked about, everybody was going to try to put something from the book into, what's that word? Like use the book at somehow. So maybe, I don't know if everyone feels about going around the circle and saying what you did or how it worked, or whether it's, whether you liked it or not or something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sarah, do you want to start?
Okay. So during the 4% Fix, I have been traveling around visiting friends and family. So I would normally, like I'm really good at all of this already. So it was just kind of like rereading things I already do. But like when I started Book Interrupted, I did the same thing. I didn't wake up at 5, but I woke up at 6 and then did all my research and figured out what I wanted to do for Book Interrupted, because that was the only time I had, because I have 3 kids. So I kind of already do that. Like I'm really good at time management when I want to do my own thing. So I do have something I want to do for my 4% Fix, but because I've been traveling around and I'm kind of like in other people's lives, not in my own life, I've been doing the 4% Fix for Book Interrupted. So I just wake up early to do all the Book Interrupted stuff. So I'm kind of doing it, but not for like, that's my old passion project. It's now that Book Interrupted is now work for me. And I'm thinking about doing a new passion project, which is learning a new skill. So
are you going to share? Are you going to share with us, or you're still deciding? No,
Sarah. I know what it is.
Oh.
I'm not ready to share. Same with Book Interrupted. Once I figure it out, I will share with all of you. But I'm going to learn a new thing starting when I get back to Senegal in a few weeks.
Nice.
Your response is so good, because like you're like, I have a passion project. Mine is literally like, I might get up early and watch TV. Like I'm making it so easy on myself, because that's how, like I said it in my like final book report or whatever. I'm trying it. I'm consistently going to bed at 10, which is really great, because when we started Book Interrupted, I read all the books over the summer because I was off, because it was like COVID shut down, and then I just didn't go back to work and whatever. So I was able to kind of cram, and I don't have any habits formed for this actual podcast that are going to be good moving forward. I don't have time to cram again. So I need to build in time at least to read. So I thought I could do that as well in the morning, but I definitely have a problem going to bed because I'm getting that alone time and I want to just watch TV, and then I go to bed really late. And so I forced myself to go to bed at 10 and then I read, which is good for the anxiety I was feeling and good for actually falling asleep and good for accomplishing the commitment of Book Interrupted. And then I've been waking up slightly earlier. And this is me baby stepping my way to eventually kind of doing it. So I've been practicing it, but practicing it light, like very light. And my first like 4% fix, my first passion project is going to be watching all my shows in the morning.
But for someone who's not used to doing something like a 4% fix, it's a habit. You have to change all of your habits, and changing habits is, like she says, baby step it or you'll fail. And I read that book, Atomic Habits, and he says that too. You have to make it easier for doing the things you want to do and harder to do the things that aren't a good habit for you. Like the bad habits you're trying to break, you have to make them harder, and the good habits that you want to start, you have to make them super easy. So he does the same thing, like 10 minutes, like be like, okay, I'm only going to do 10 minutes of this run. And she mentions that in the book that someone did that. Like, or I think it was her. She's like, I'm just going to run for 10 minutes. And then there's only 3 times she only ran for 10 minutes, but it's just the mentality of being like, I can do 10 minutes, right? It's the mentality of that. So I think you're doing the right thing to actually be successful by baby
I totally
steps.
agree. That's why I loved this book, because she has a great voice, like an awesome sense of humor, and the content is delivered in such a way that you don't feel threatened, I guess, because a lot of times when you're trying to go up for a challenge and you might be insecure about it or whatever, like it's just that in and of itself is a barrier to even beginning, right? And so I think she just does a really good job of presenting the idea, and then in such a way that you can't fail. Like literally, yes, I can go to bed 5 seconds earlier and wake up 5 seconds earlier if that's how small my baby step is, you know? And that's one of the things I really liked about it.
Well, and I also really like in the book how, like, because she's a journalist, she really did her research. So, you know, you're talking about creating habits, and then she also talks about how the brain works and how she, you know, the pathways and how you can develop pathways so that those habits work. And, you know, I appreciated that of this book. And I said that in my book for a personal journal, as opposed to that kind of guru idea of the self-help where it's like, oh, I live this and you should listen to me. Whereas I think she's great because she's like, I lived this. You can listen to me or not, do you, but also here's a whole bunch of research and backup of why I think the way that I think. And this is also my personal experience of how it worked for me.
Yeah, and why you might consider it too.
Yeah.
And why it might work for you.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
yeah, totally. Because we're all humans and this is the research. Yeah.
I also really like how she drilled into sleep throughout the whole book, because I think a lot of, like, I call it the crazy train when I used to live here, because I felt like I was on a crazy train trying to do a whole bunch of things at the same time. And I think when you're in like a super stressed out situation, someone being like, okay, take an hour for yourself, you might think, it's fine, I'll just have 1 hour less sleep. Like, and she kept on drilling it. Do not take less sleep. Go to bed. What are you doing at night? Like, just go to bed early. Like, or if you can't go to bed early, I like how she did the archetypes too, then, you know, carve it out at a different time, but make it so you're still getting your sleep. It's not about getting rid of sleep. Where I think
you can't sustain it if you don't have sleep.
Some people need it.
Our whole society doesn't value sleep. Like Matthew Walker is incredible about providing like the evidence, research, and support into how integral sleep is. It messes us up.
Who is Matthew Walker? Sorry.
He wrote that book, Why We Sleep. It's good.
Oh,
it's brilliant.
He's a sleep researcher,
brilliant.
like a sleep scientist.
Okay.
I also appreciated that about the author, in that basically one of the major takeaways was how important sleep is, because how can you sustain and thrive in these new schedules or way of managing your life if you're not giving yourself the very foundational things that your body and mind need to do well. I gained more awareness around my sleep habits from this book, and it was a fantastic takeaway because I started to see the pattern of how the wheels start coming off for me. Sleep is the first step. Once that starts to go, then you can predict that my level of self-care is going to slowly start to erode. My healthy eating habits are I'm going to be ingesting more sugar, carbs, caffeine. So it was such a great takeaway. I was like, yeah, it's so simple. Just get your frickin' sleep. Because now I can see the pattern, how when I don't honor that, just forget
Domino
about it.
effect.
Yep.
I think there's like a misconception that we're not doing anything when we sleep as well. And your your brain is very busy when you sleep doing important things. And so when people are like, well, just skip it because you're too busy. And you're like, well, I'm busy when I sleep too, even if I don't really know what's happening.
I feel like society is set it up like that, right? Like that whole achieve and meritocracy and everything like that. People look for like, where can I shave off? And then people are like, well, sleep, because you don't realize how busy you are when you're sleeping because you're sleeping, right? And so it's undervalued.
Book interrupted.
Here's my interruption. Jet lag. I never really had it when I was younger. I used to be able to travel all the time and get back on schedule. I would just like be a little bit sleep deprived and force myself back on the regular schedule. And I don't know, maybe it's like because I'm older or I'm not sure. I literally can't get over this jet lag and get back on the regular schedule. And it really sucks. Yep. I feel like so lazy. And I hate feeling lazy. Lazy is not my the regular way I roll. So hopefully I'll get over this soon and not be such a sleepy girl. Okay, bye.
Book interrupted.
So Leah, did you do it?
I think she's really funny. I love like her humor came through very easily on the book. My favorite thing was like the thing she invented called the PHAG.
Oh, I was gonna say, how do you pronounce that?
I love that. I think I'm gonna
PHAG.
do a little comic strip with the PHAG and the
What does it stand for again?
BHAG is like big,
Petite.
hairy ass goal, maybe.
Yeah,
And PHAG is like
Petite,
pretty
hairless, agreeable goal.
Yeah.
It's like I that for me was like I need that like as a tattoo. Like my takeaway from the book is that I need a new book called -4% Fix. I need less. I'm the list of family, productivity, health, and creativity. I was like, I definitely put my health below, like productivity is like almost too important to me. So I was like, I was reading the book and I was like, man, I need the opposite book. I always prioritize my sleep really well. But like I run myself into the ground, I think is my takeaway. I stopped reading the book because I was getting sad at me. Actually, it was like just making me kind of sad. Like I was just like, I'm pushing myself too hard. Creativity is like baked into the cake with my life and my work. So creativity is not a problem. I have too many passion projects and I, as we all do, bleed for my family. Like I always giving too much.
She nails it every time, folks.
I nail it. I do. I think I nail it, but I'm nailing it to the point where I'm like, I think I'm causing myself to have more problems.
I don't understand why you make why that equals a -4% fix for you.
Oh, like I need 4% less
Productivity.
or something.
4%
like I
less
need to cut out.
productivity.
I'm doing too much. I wanted to use my 4% of my time to be by myself.
I thought you had mentioned meditation.
Yeah, meditation. But it's like I was already getting up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So it's like, then like I guess I have to go to bed another hour earlier. But I was already getting 8 hours sleep. So I don't know. It just felt like I didn't prioritize it. Clearly, I didn't make the time for myself. But I don't know where to cut out anything. I don't know. It just bummed me out.
I said this in my personal journal is like, cause I thought it was really funny. She said the procrastinating. I thought that's
me too. I do that all the time.
But I don't do procrastinating because my thing is like Leah. productivity and work is always the top. So I have to schedule and drag myself out of it to do other things. So one of the things I do to stop myself from working is I bake and I put an audiobook, because that's like a reward for me, like baking and doing audiobook, because it's so different than me being productive.
I know it's hard for anyone to get up at 5. And so I'm just making excuses, but it was just like hard to see why getting up to be alone to meditate would be more valuable than 8 hours sleep. And there's no, like I could cut back and go to bed earlier, but it's like I value having a functional relationship. That's the quality time I get to spend with my husband, is that 1 hour at night. So I don't know what to do, but the
you don't
4% was a real
Angry. Get him to come to bed with you for some coffee.
Coffee.
Hot coffee.
Oh my gosh.
I think you're onto something, Sarah, is that it's all about fun, like what balances as you get to know yourself more and more, and we never stop getting to know ourselves and the different versions of ourselves. It's asking ourselves, like, what would bring the balance? And for yours and Leah's personality type, it is, how can I emphasize being and not doing? So yeah, Leah, I think it's like exploring what would feel uber rewarding. Waking up at 4:45 a.m. to do a meditation, you're gonna put that off like nobody's business.
Well, like when I was doing that, I was just falling asleep, like sitting up meditating like this, and then it was like, ugh. I was like, I'm not meditating. I'm just wasting my time. I need 8 hours sleep. Yeah.
Well, and maybe you need a small chunk it a bit too. Like, don't go for the full hour.
Yeah.
And like your daughter, her age now, like as she gets older, she's gonna become more independent, and you might be able to just carve out some time in the middle of the day. But maybe a half an hour.
The baby stepped it. Like all things, I was not taking Kim's notes and doing baby steps with high reward. I was like, well, all or nothing.
I think you went too big. I think what everyone's saying, like
I went too big.
literally go to bed 5 minutes earlier and wake up 5 minutes earlier, and then just feel good about it.
Just do that.
That's it.
Have your
Only on a Monday.
morning
Try it
coffee
only on
by
Monday.
yourself, right? Like, like take a day. She's right. Just one day, and just be like, this is my 5-minute coffee in silence.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Okay.
Go to the backyard.
I needed a little pep talk, I think, because I just felt like it was really uncomfortable to examine my time and how I spend my time. It's like, it was uncomfortable. It was like, I'd rather just keep my head down and complain about it later.
Did you do, Leah, just in the morning? Like, I like to just lay in bed in the morning for however long, me maybe longer than most people, and just be like, wake up and just lay there and be like, it's not meditation. I don't call it anything else.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I don't think of anything. I'm just there. I let my creative juices flow or whatever. Maybe I think of something. So just do like 10 minutes of the morning of just laying there. Don't think about your day. Don't pick up your phone. Don't do anything. Just be for 10 minutes. And that'll be just like you're still in bed. You're still feeling cozy.
Actually, we did. Yeah, I love that. And B and I thought it might be fun to bring the coffee, like get one of those coffee makers that has you could set the timer.
Oh yeah.
And put it in our bedroom.
And then you could smell it and it'll wake
and
you
then
up.
It's like brewing and you're like aware of it and you wake up and then you could just sit there and your coffee's there. You don't have to go downstairs.
Oh my God.
I want to be
brilliant
for more than 10 minutes.
It could be your alarm clock, right? Because like it could be like
your alarm clock.
Aroma alarm clock. Like Sarah has like coffee.
That's a thing. That should be a thing.
If you've enjoyed these video highlights, listen to the full episode on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember to like and subscribe and ring that bell to be notified when new episodes are published. Find out more by going to www.bookinterrupted.com.
Book Interrupted.
Never forget, every child matters.